And now our sixth story out front. Like father, like son, never before seen video surfacing of Republican Senator Ted Cruz's father making some comments about President Barack Obama. Let me let you judge.
We need to send Barack Obama back to Chicago. I'd like to send him back to Kenya, back to...
According to Mother Jones, which uncovered the video, Rafael Cruz made those comments in September of last year at a North Texas Tea Party event as his son was running for Senate. Now, Ted Cruz calls his father a hero, so is the younger Cruz on the hook for his father's remarks? Out front tonight, political analyst John Avlon and Mediaite Joe Concha. Great to have both of you with us. Now, John, Senator Cruz often brought his father on the campaign trail. In fact, you know, he's bragged about how many campaign stops his father has made. Obviously, they're very close. Here's what he said after he won his Senate seat in November about his father.
My father has spent virtually every day the past year crisscrossing this state, telling his story and speaking on his son's behalf. My dad is my hero. He has been my entire life.
Given that, does the senator need to denounce those comments by his father?
I think he needs to distance himself from those comments, because a failure to distance themselves ends up being association. Look, he's been very clear his father is his hero, and that's a great thing, and his father's lived an American dream in many respects. But it says a lot about the environment from which Ted Cruz spreads. It says a lot about the ideology that it has influenced his development. It says a lot about the man and the senator has become. So it's not incidental. It can't just be dismissed. It should be condemned.
Joe, what do you think? I mean, you know, this isn't just my father was saying something random on the side. This is a man who is very closely affiliated and politically affiliated with his son.
And Ted Cruz, in some straw polls, is a leading contender for the presidency in 2016. Not the presidency, but at least a Republican nomination.
Right.
Let's look at three presidents, okay, recent presidents, whose fathers might not have been the best example. For instance, President Obama, when he was young, his parents divorced, very young age. All right, and his father was a deadbeat, basically. Absentee father. The president talks about it in his book. Let's see, Obama from there goes to Columbia, Harvard, senator, two-term president. Okay, how about fathers that were more active in their sons' lives that were presidents? Well, let's see. President Clinton's father died before he was born. Roger Clinton, his stepfather, was an abusive alcoholic. He used to beat his mother on a consistent basis. Well, one more example, John.
But he didn't take them onto the campaign trail and have them say these things.
Right. But these fathers, though, and even in Ronald Reagan's case, Jack Reagan was also a raging alcoholic as well. The bottom line is that these people, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, didn't follow the examples, didn't embrace the principles necessarily of their fathers, because when you become an adult, you make your own decisions.
But isn't Ted Cruz, by definition, John, embracing more because he is taking his father on the campaign trail?
Absolutely.
Or is that taking it too far?
And due respect, I think there's a fundamental difference, right? We're not talking about judging kids by the character of their fathers, those mistakes. We're talking about the context of statements on a campaign trail and statements that riff directly off some of the ugliest, most unhinged birther conspiracy theories that so many Tea Party conservatives say, oh, we don't have anything to do with. And when you actually have been, when you have grown up ideologically in the shadow of your father, influenced by your father, by all accounts, by your own account, and that stuff slips out on a campaign trail, it says a lot about the waters from which you have sprung, ideological and otherwise. So it is a big deal. It's not a character defect. It's a political insult that needs to be owned.
However, this is not a Kathleen Gingrich moment. If you recall, Kathleen Gingrich tells Connie Chung, you know what my son thinks of Hillary Clinton? Thinks she's a bitch. Okay, if Ted Cruz's father said that, Ted Cruz thinks that Barack Obama should go back to Kenya. Well, that's something different altogether, Erin.
All right, so I want to play you something Senator Cruz has said. Right now, this is not, I don't think, in the same category of send him back to Kenya, but it does show Senator Cruz's way of perhaps saying things. So here he is.
I don't want to miss the opportunity within the limited time to do something that is imperative that I do, which is to thank the men and women who have endured this baton death march. Have you all noticed, the Nigerian email scammers? They've been a lot less active lately because they've all been hired to run the Obamacare websites.
All right, he ended up apologizing for those comments, which I think we all can agree that might be tasteless, but it's not in the category of what we're about to hear in a moment from his father. But if he apologizes for those, shouldn't he apologize for Send him back to Kenya?
And throw his father under the bus. You know what? I think that if he were to do that, I would have less respect for that, because in the end, you say your kid gets in trouble in school, you still stand by him. It goes the other way as well. As a son to advance his political career and say, you know what? I denounce my father right now. Family, in the end, Erin, regardless of the comments, always comes first.
All right, so let me play one other soundbite. And I know what your view will be on this, but this is going to get a little tougher for you, Joe. This is Rafael Cruz again. A blog found this, Colorado Pause, it's called. Obviously a liberal blog, but let me just play it again. This is Ted Cruz's father.
Según Obama's quote, if the winds shift, I will side with the Muslims. But McCain couldn't say that because it wasn't politically correct. It is time we stop being politically correct.
Okay, that's...
If you expect me to defend that statement, I'm not saying anything that this isn't reckless.
I'm not saying you're just defending the substance of the statement, but more that, I mean, this is not just one time he said something, it's multiple times.
Until I hear Ted Cruz make those comments, here's the thing. It's 2013. The election is 3 years away. If somebody actually goes into a voting booth and says, you know what, I don't really know where this Cruz guy stands, but his father, 74 years old, who may or may not be coherent at this point.
This isn't about 2016. This isn't about 2016. What this is about is some of the ugliness that tends to seep through our politics at the grassroots level and infuse the most extreme among us. And someone whose father has parroted that, and I love the fact he's saying McCain's too politically correct to tell the truth, that Obama's secretly going to shift winds of the Muslim. I mean, it's fantasy on paranoia, and that is what fuels the ugliness in our politics today. And if that is not condemned, no matter who says it, then you're de facto endorsing it.
And Rafael Cruz is not running for any office anytime soon. He is a pastor, and therefore Ted Cruz, while he should distance, I agree with Mr. Avlon, at the same time, you can't ask him to throw his dad under the bus. That's not how family works in the end, regardless of comments.
Maybe not have him in public settings anymore, though.
That might be a quality idea.
All right, thanks to both of you. Appreciate it.